Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. 1 week before the Keeneland Spring Meet opens, we've got two big Kentucky Derby preps that we'll take a look at. The Grade 2 Louisiana Derby at the Fairgrounds, the Grade 1 Florida Derby at Gulfstream, and let's start in South Florida. I'm Tom Leach, along with Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, Jim Goodman. The Florida Derby is the end of an all-stakes pick four that has a $750,000 guarantee. And we'll come back to those races in just a moment. But we're going to start in with the Florida Derby, Grade 1, Jim, for 3-year-olds going 1 mile and an eighth. And Gunnevera is going to be a pretty solid favorite in there. Who did you like?
Yeah, I would think he would be odds on, but drawing the outside hole does not help him. But you go back and watch the Fountain of Youth, and a lot of the horses coming out of the Fountain of Youth are coming back to try him again. There's no reason why he shouldn't be a favorite, but there's always a reason why you try to beat somebody. So I think the 11 hole hurts a little bit. I like the Holy Bull and then the Fountain of Youth, but Irish War Cry handled him pretty well in the Holy Bull. So I'm not sure. The Fountain of Youth he got a great trip. He was on the inside. He took back and just blew him away. I'm not sure he'll get that in the 11 hole. So I got a couple other horses in here that I'm going to give a shot to, and I think either one of Pletcher's, Battalion Runner or Always Dreaming, could give him a tussle. Always Dreaming, the buyer was low last time out at Gulfstream, but he didn't have to run any faster than that. It was a real easy, slow pace, and they ran a 1:16 and 4, and he just galloped to the lead. I don't know how much he got out of that race at 1-9, but he comes back here for Pletcher, and if Pletcher runs both of them, I think they both got a chance. He may scratch out Battalion Runner, I'm not sure, but I like Battalion Runner a little bit better with those last two races at Gulfstream going from 7 furlongs to 1 mile and 16. It's a natural progression to go to 1 mile and 8. It looks like he's going to like the distance being out of Bridle Song. So Battalion Runner's got a shot to 9. 3 Rules at 10 intrigues me a little bit. I hate to take a horse that I took last time and he didn't work out. I thought last time he was the speed of the speed, and he did get the lead, but gave it up fairly easily to Gunnevera in the stretch. But coming from the swale, he took a step back, and that worries me a little bit. I still think he loves Gulfstream. He's 5 out of 7 there. I think 3 Rules has a real shot, too. So when we talk about the pick four, I'm certainly not going to single Gunnevera. If I had to take a price here, I would take 3 Rules or Battalion Runner, whichever one is the value. But I'm going to use those 4 horses in the pick four, trying to beat Gunnevera.
I'm going to take 3 Rules. Went back and watched the Fountain of Youth, and I thought this horse was kind of forced into a pretty hot pace because he was tracked by Irish War Cry. And it was the first time Saez rode the horse. I think he'll be well served with that experience under his belt on the horse for a second ride. I think 3 Rules maybe gets to stalk the speed here, sit a half length or so off, and I think that'll be a better trip. And he just loves Gulfstream Park. So if he's going to pull an upset, I think this would be the place that it would happen. So not crazy about the 10 post, but I am going to take the 10 3 Rules. And like you, I'm going to spread a little bit in here. I like the ones you mentioned, the 2 Pletchers and Gunnevera. State of Honor probably is the pace setter from the rail. I would add him into the mix as well, in case speed would really be holding. But 3 Rules is my pick to win the Florida Derby. The pick four, all stakes pick four, begins in the 11th race with the Grade 2 Gulfstream Park Oaks for 3-year-old fillies at 1 mile and a 16th. I like Nona Bella in there. 29% strike rate for Pletcher on the stretch out, and she's bred to love going around 2 turns. And she was really heavily bet in both starts, so they clearly had a high opinion of this filly. Pletcher's usually really good, got him cranked on the big days. So I like Nona Bella a lot in here. The 2 Cassie horses, Summer Luck and Salty, and then Tequilita for Michael Matz would be the other ones I would use, but I would key on Nona Bella in the Gulfstream Park Oaks. I'll just go through the rest of the pick four, and then I'll let you do the same. The Cutler Bay Handicap was the 12th. I liked Sir Sebastian for the win in there off the big improvement last time, and 2 of his 3 career wins are at Gulfstream. And then in the 13th race, Patterson Cross, I liked a couple of starts back at 38-1, and kind of like you were talking about with 3 Rules in the Florida Derby, was hesitant to pick him, but I just think he's found a new level here. His last 2 are much better than anything previously, and I think he just needs a little racing luck to get there, and he's run well at Gulfstream, so I like Patterson Cross. So I'm going to start my pick 4 and single Nona Bella, And then I'm going to take Sir Sebastian, Erasmo's Dream, Inherit the Wind, and Dover Cliffs in the Cutler Bay. In the 13th, I'm going to take 5. Patterson Cross, Designed for War, Sadler's Joy, Glebe, and Mr. Maybe. And then take 4 horses in the Florida Derby. I'm going to leave out State of Honor, but the 2 Pletchers, Gunnevera, and 3 Rules. How about you?
Man, I thought you were going to single Patterson Cross in that race, and I thought you were going to be brave on this one. But you like him, but you don't like him that much, huh?
No, I can't single him.
I spread a little bit, too. I agree with you. I spread a little bit in the later races. The first race, I think I like Nonabella, your pick, but I also like Salty. Mark Cassie's horse comes out the gate first time out and is 24-1 and almost beat Nonabella at 6.5 furlongs. And then Salty came back and broke her maiden by 2.5 with a 91 buyer at 3-5. So she went from 24-1 to 3-5. She's almost 2 for 2. Nonabella and Salty, I think, cover that leg, and I couldn't separate them. So I'm going to go 6-7 in the first leg. I'm going to use Inherit the Wind, the 6 for Le Peru and Cassie, and Dover Cliffs is my top choice in the 12th race to Cutler Bay for Christophe Clement. Very impressive last time out, breaking his maiden. And Dover Cliffs for Ortiz is my top pick, but I will go 2 deep with 6-8. Then in the turf race where you like Patterson Cross, I like them all. And I'm going to use all there. I think that I really couldn't toss anything. You used 5 out of the 8. And the worst horse in here, I think, in my mind, was Snag, and I'm not going to toss just one. It's Pletcher Velasquez, so I think even he could win. So I'm going to go all 8 deep there. And then in the Florida Derby, the 4 horses that I talked about, Always Dreaming the 4, Battalion Runner the 9, 3 Rules the 10, and Gunnevera the 11. I think that's a $64 ticket, 6, 7, 8 with 4, 9, 10, 11.
Let's jump over to the fairgrounds and talk about a couple of preps there, one for the Oaks, one for the Derby. The 10th race is the Grade 2 Fairgrounds Oaks. I think Farrell's a real strong favorite in here off 2 wins at the fairgrounds already. The speed figures were just kind of average, so I think she could be vulnerable, but hard to find anybody in here to beat her. I took a shot with Corporate Queen, the 4. If I'm right about Nona Bella, then that makes me think Corporate Queen's really good because she finished behind Nona Bella last time, and she ought to improve off that. She's bred to like the 2 turns, so I'm going to try Corporate Queen. The other one I would include in here and just do maybe a 3-horse box with the 4, 6, and the 8, Queen Bernardina. I liked this horse last fall. I thought she was real impressive winning at at Churchill in September, and then didn't run well in I think it was the Alcibiades, and she's making her second start now for a new trainer, and maybe a new barn can enable her to recapture that really good form from last September, and if so, I think she's got some talent, so I'm going to box 4, 6, 8, and a shaky win pick for the 4, Corporate Queen there. How about you for the Fairgrounds Oaks?
Yeah, I think this is a great spot for Farrell, and I think if you're a 3-year-old filly owner, you're looking at the Kentucky Oaks a lot differently this week because Unique Bella is out with a shin injury, and you're talking about making a walkover, a wide-open race. I think a lot of these fillies are looking like they'd have a shot at the Oaks now, so I think Unique Bella was probably the best 3-year-old, period, boy or girl. So she's out for the Oaks with hopefully a minor shin injury. Farrell looks good to me. I think Catalano's got her going the right way. The Rachel Alexander was extremely impressive and was geared down late and still ran a good time and got a decent buyer. The 3-year-old fillies don't get huge buyers. It seems like if you get a 90, it's an aberration. But she's got a shot at moving up to an 88 or 90 here. So I think Farrell's got a huge shot. She could sweep the 3 filly races at Fairgrounds, which is pretty cool. The Silver Bullet Day, the Rachel Alexandra, and the Oaks. And that would put her in good shape to come into Kentucky with a real shot at making it 4 in a row for Catalano. I think Corporate Queen ran big in an optional claimer at Gulfstream, and she stretches out. She's going to like that. Giroux Cassie is always a tough combination. Daria's Angel, the 2, won last time out for Calhoun, but had a huge buyer figure off of 57 to 80, so may be set for a bounce today. And Summer Luck, the other Cassie, should have won the Devona Dale at Gulfstream. So I think she's got that class. She got beat by 3/4 of the length and was really coming down the stretch. So she's going to like to stretch out to mile 16. I think Farrell, the 6 on top of the 2-4-7 would be the way I would play this, and then keep Farrell second in a trifecta as well.
I did see at DRF.com just recently, Summer Luck's going to stay in Florida for Cassie and run in the Gulfstream Park Oaks there. Take us on to the 11th race at the Fairgrounds, the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby. Who'd you like?
I like the favorites somewhat. Gervin ran a big race in the Risen Star, and coming off a turf race, it seemed to prime him perfectly, and he's very deserving. I like Guest Suite in the Risen Star, and he didn't run. He got an 87 buyer, got beat by 4.5, and was 13 lengths out of it at the second call. So I think that Alvarado will get a little lesson from Neil Howard to say you don't need to be 13 back, and I think it could be a different story here if he's within 5 or 6, and there is some pressure up front. So I think Guest Suite, Local Hero, the 3 for Asmussen, deserves some maybe another shot. He ran off in the race at Risen Star, and that's what set it up so well for Gervin. So I think if it's a more contested pace here and Local Hero is pulled back a little bit by Giroux, it might set up for somebody other than Gervin. He got the perfect setup last time out. Having said that, he's really good, and he may take the step forward to the Derby here that everybody's expecting him to. But Local Hero has a shot. The live long shot here, I think, is a horse. Dallas Stewart, for some reason, gets horses ready, gets 3-year-olds ready this time of year, and he throws a surprise in the Derby every once in a while, and then Preakness to run second at a huge price. And I think he's got a horse here called Hollywood Handsome that might fit that profile. It took him 5 to break his maiden, but then he came back and ran really well in a optional claimer at Fairgrounds at 1.70 miles. Stretches out to 1.08 miles for the first time, but he's ran 3 1.70 mile races to get a foundation in him. I think that if you're looking for somebody to fill out your try or your super, I think Hollywood Handsome, you can do worse than bet Dallas Stewart to get the money in a big race. So Gervin is my top pick, the 8, but I give Guest Suite a real turn the tables on him, the 6 horse.
I think you make a really good point about Hollywood Handsome making a run to maybe hit the board, but I went to Guest Suite. I think there's a little more speed than there was in the Risen Star, and I think, like you, he'll get a ride that'll put him a little closer early. Really working well for Neil Howard, who doesn't fire a lot of bullets with his horses in the morning. And then this is the third start off the layoff for this horse, and I can see him maybe sneaking away at 3.5, 4 to 1 or something in here, and getting the money at a decent price. So I like Guest Suite a good bit in the Louisiana Derby. Got to use Gervin with him, Local Hero, Hollywood Handsome, and maybe Patch as well down on the rail, just out of respect for Pletcher. But I'm going Guest Suite to take the Louisiana Derby. And Jim, we're focusing on these big Saturday races, but Sunday at Gulfstream Park is going to be a special day that players need to be aware of, right?
Yeah, Gulfstream has the jackpot pick 6, a 20-cent wager that it only gets cleared out if there's one unique ticket. So as we're recording this a couple days out, it's over $1.5 million in the carryover. So if they go all the way through Florida Derby Day and nobody has that single winning ticket, they're going to give it away on Sunday. So it's a mandatory payout on Sunday with a probable pot of at least $2 million to start. I have no idea how much they'll put in there. Sometimes they put in as much as 3 times, so it could be a $5 or $6 million pot on Sunday that everybody can shoot for it with a 20-cent wager. So if you don't make money on Florida Derby Day using our picks, you can come back out to Red Mile on Sunday or play Keeneland Select on Sunday and try to take down that big pot at Gulfstream.
Best of luck with your wagers at Keeneland Select or at the simulcasting sites around the state. And we'll be back next week, starting on Friday, with our first podcast of the Keeneland Spring Meet for the opening of Keeneland Racing for the month of April. And, of course, the big opening weekend with the Ashland and the Bluegrass and so many more stakes. Keep it right here at KeenelandSelect.com.